Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated, and tonight on Open Late, this isn't highly articulated. Well, I mean, it is, but it isn't. My brain is a million miles away right now, but I am really, really excited about this. I am Adam. This is Open Late on the Highly Articulated channel, and I am opening something not that late in terms of delivery, late at night, granted. But this is new. This is the latest and greatest from the Creative Beast Studios, Cyberzoic line. This is, of course, the Kickstarter exclusive Saber-tooth tiger with Helena. So this is a Dino Riders homage kind of repaint, exclusively available through the Kickstarter. Of course, we have the Smilodon. Of course, we have the Saber Beast armor. Of course, we have, in this case, Helena, but, in Cyberzoic in general, Dragalina. And, exclusive box with exclusive art, which looks awesome, which has a flap that opens up to sort of show you what's inside, and it's what's inside that counts. But I mean, we're gonna take a look at the box. I love this. I mean, I love Cyberzoic. I think there's, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. I absolutely love Cyberzoic, and I am all in on Cyberzoic, and I've sort of loved everything that I have opened so far and played with so far. And I wasn't sure if I needed this, but I will say this now that I sort of have some Cyberzoic stuff in hand. I'm glad that I didn't miss out on this, because I think this is a really, really special piece, and one that I'm very, very excited to have in my collection. All right, let's very quickly take a look at the box. As I said, you get sort of exclusive art on the front here. This is sort of a Dino Riders, homage. So, even the fonts and sort of the colors and things like that kind of reference Dino Riders. I didn't have a ton of Dino Rider stuff as a kid, and I certainly don't remember opening any of it. So I'm not sure. I think the sort of, the flap open, is an homage to that as well. Nice big window on the front there. Not much more information than we sort of got, on when the flap was down. Now I'm gonna sort of lay this down and then hope that we can kind of see most of this. Well, you can kind of see most of this, but not all of it, I don't think. Unless I change my camera angle, which is a pain in the butt. But anyway, you get more images on here. So you get Helena, you get the Smilodon, you get more sort of call outs to some of the details there as well. This little flap is held on, or is sort of opened and closed with some Velcro. On the bottom of the box, we get more pictures of the Smilodon, more pictures of Helena on the armor. We get the names on the bottom, which we have seen previously in other figures and things of that nature. On the side, we get the art again. On the other side, we get the art again, as well as a picture. On the back, we get the picture. So sticking with sort of what they've done previously with other Cyberzoic stuff, you get the art, or sort of a digital render or something like that on the front, and then you get a picture of the actual product on the back. Now typically there's a little bit of cross sell, but in this case, because it's a Kickstarter exclusive, and because it's the Dino Riders homage, you don't get the same thing. But you do get sort of, all the contents of the box. You get, some call outs to certain details. You get, some information about the saber-tooth tiger, which of course is not called the saber-tooth tiger now. That's sort of like a very colloquial name for the Smilodon, I believe. I'm not a dino guy. I am a toy guy. I'm a Dino Riders guy. I'm a toy guy. I'm an action figure guy. So when people get sort of really in the weeds with the names and things like that, I don't know what they're talking about. To me, this is a saber-toothed tiger, and it might always be. I've seen people sort of correct them when they call this a saber-toothed tiger, and I think, in some way, love what you love. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to sort of tease anybody for being a dino nerd, because they know way more stuff than I do. But I think they've kind of missed the jest of calling this a saber-tooth tiger. You even get Cyberzoic points, Creative B Studio Cyberzoic points on the back for I don't know, a mail away exclusive figure or something at some point. That's not going to happen. But I think it's funny that they include stuff like that. So anyways, that's the box. But who cares? The box is cool. I'm gonna keep the box. So when I say who cares, I mean I do obviously care, because look at this box. It's amazing. But really, what I'm most excited about is the contents of the box and what is inside the box here. So let me get this out of the box as quickly as I can, because this is without a doubt the most boring part of these videos. And I got to do it in such a way that it doesn't destroy the box, which is, easier said than done. The figures themselves are very hardy. The boxes are less hardy. They're not, fragile or anything like that, but they are relatively thin. And so I just don't want to wreck it, because I want to keep it for posterity. All right, there is everything out of the box. Now I do want to, so you get sort of this insert, which looks, I don't know, like the insert from the Dino Riders Ice Age, saber-tooth tiger. I don't know, maybe not. But on the back, we get this majestic mountain landscape with some billowing clouds at the bottom, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. That's what you get. It's not as exciting as the Cyberzoic ones, which just have a little bit more art and stuff like that. But anyway. Okay, here we get the instructions. Now, these are a little bit different looking than the ones that we've gotten with Cyberzoic so far. These, again, part of me now feels like I need to pick up like an in-box Dino Riders figure so that I can open it to see how close to the originals this is. Because it feels like this is probably like an homage to what you would get in a Dino Riders thing, but through the lens of the Creative Beast Cyberzoic stuff. This looks exactly the same as the Cyberzoic thing. This does not. It is one-sided, so the other side is just blank. But yeah, so there you go. You get sort of all the contents called out on sort of the front side, or the top of the sheet, and then the bottom side gives you all the instructions for how to put this thing together. Full transparency, I have opened Smilodons, I have opened Saber Beast armor, and I have opened my Helina figure. So all of this is going to be easy. I've done all this. So, I'm just kind of doing it again. Although I think the way they put the helmet on is different in this one compared to the Saber Beast one, which is interesting. But if I get it wrong, I'll come back to this to see if I did it wrong. But otherwise, I'm just gonna wing it. I am pulling Kevin from Toying Around, and I'm not even gonna bother with the instructions. I'm just gonna try to build this thing, put it together without any instructions, because I'm an adult and I can do what I want. But it's cool that these are in there. If you're so inclined to read them, you'll probably have a more enjoyable experience, and you probably get it right. We get a little baggie here with a card as well as a stand for Helina. These typically open up very easily and very nicely. Typically, but of course, this one's not going to. I should say hello to the chat. I will in a moment. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay, get this out of the bag. I'll just take a quick look. So the Cyberzoic stands, you just get a simple, clear stand. It does have Cyberzoic imprinted on it, sort of sculpted in. The only sort of bad thing about that is that they've also included, Creative Beast Studios 2025 on the back. So because it's clear, where it says Cyberzoic, you can sort of see the back side as well. And so you kind of can't differentiate where the Cyberzoic part is and where the made in China part is, which is a bit of a bummer. But yeah, who cares? I mean, it's a stand. It's going to be flat on the ground anyway. So what difference does it make? These cards are rad. And I mean, in this case particularly, this art is just stunning. I think I want to get this print. I think I'm going to talk to these guys and see if I can get the file for this so I can print it and put it on my wall next to the other Cyberzoic prints that I have on my wall. But more importantly, this is this is a card that gives us all the information for the saber-tooth tiger with Helena. And oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting, actually. Okay, this is me nerding out on Cyberzoic on something that I didn't know about, that I wasn't aware of. So this is the saber-tooth tiger with Helena. For sort of faction or tribe or what have you, she's listed as wild. Now, the only other thing in Cyberzoic that's listed as wild currently is the Kurokami, the dragon, the Arctic dragon. So she's not listed as, Fire Clan or Dragon Clan or anything like that. She's listed as wild. So I don't know if that means that she's canon. My understanding was that this was sort of like outside of canon. This was sort of like homage, that it was like a Cyberzoic product in nature, but it, in the same way that like, so if you're a Mythic Legions fan, right? The Masters of the Universe homage figures that they've done are typically considered not Mythic Legions canon. So they don't have factions or anything like that. This has the wild sort of faction logo on it. Now, does that just mean that they had to put it somewhere and so they kind of just did that? Or does that mean that, in canon, she's just sort of a rogue entity? I don't know. I hope we learn more. But anyways, that seriously sidetracked me. We get some description on the rider, on the Smilodon, but this is also a playable Zoic card. So for anybody that's been paying attention to my channel or to Creative Beast Studios, the Creative Beast Studios guys have done a collectible trading card game. I think I got that right finally. CTG, collectible trading card game. Anyway, Zoic is the name. This is a Zoic card. This is a playable Zoic card. So the function or the ability on here is called anti-freeze. So you can actually use this card in the game if you want to. Now, I would recommend sleeving it, because otherwise, when this comes up in your deck, that's the top. So you'll know it's that card if it's not sleeved, and so will everybody else. But as I said, very, very cool card, which has a few more insights than I actually thought it was going to. Where am I going to put that? I'm going to put that up there. No, where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to put the stand next to that. I'm going to take a sip of my beverage, and then I'm going to say hello to the chat. 17 minutes in and I haven't done that. I feel terrible. Larry's Geeky World says, how's it going, Adam and chat? Good to have you, Larry. Long time no chat. Brian Brink says, we don't need no stinking instructions. Exactly. Now I will say with some of the Cyberzoic stuff, you absolutely do. With this one, I would say you don't. I think you can wing it with this one. But let's see if I can prove myself right, or if I can prove myself wrong. So there you go. There is the Smilodon. I was sort of weighing the three options of the Beast of the Mesozoic, or sorry, the Beast of the Cenozoic Black Smilodon, the Cyberzoic kind of red, reddish Smilodon, and then this kind of blonde Smilodon. And this one might be my favorite colorway. So again, all the more reason that I can't believe at some point I was like, I don't think I need this one. This thing looks phenomenal. Helina looks phenomenal. Everything about this looks awesome. So let's get this thing out of the packaging. It is taped, so I'm just going to remove all the tape because I don't need tape any more than I need instructions. So I know what's going to happen. I know that I'm going to take this tape off and everything's going to fall out, and then I'm going to go to try to put it together and nothing is going to fit properly, and I'm going to need the tape and the instructions, and I'm going to just prove myself to be a fool. But but I will have fun doing it, so I guess does that count for anything? All right, so there's a couple trays here. I'm going to start on the bottom and work my way up because I know as soon as I take this sort of outer clamshell sort of cover off, everything in the... So there's technically 4 trays. There is a back tray that is 2 trays that tucks into the front tray, which is in fact 2 trays. So it's tray, stacked trays, 4 trays, quattro trays. Anyway, what am I doing? I'm opening this. So they do a really, really good job of packaging is what I'm trying to say. There's always plenty of packaging. If you wanted to display this sort of in package but out of box, you could do it in the trays. Oh, is this taped? Son of a gun. Yeah, it's taped. I thought I got all the tape off, but alas, I am stifled. I love this style of tray because it keeps everything in place, but it also... And then everything comes out really, really easily, but almost too easily. You know what I mean? Like in the sense that, as soon as you pop the tray off, if you're on any sort of an angle, sometimes it feels like everything just like shoots out. Anyway, I got this tray off and I'm just taking these things all out. I'm going to take everything out of the trays and then sort of show you everything that's in the trays. Some things are easier to get out than others. Some things are quite small, like really small, like really, really small. Now let me see. So there's blast effects that are under a piece of tape. And what I'm trying to do is take them out on the piece of tape to show you how small these blast effects are. They are teeny tiny. These are definitely the kind of thing that as a kid you would have lost. And as an adult, you are going to worry about losing. whether you ever lose them or not, you know, you'll constantly be thinking about whether you have lost them. No chewing is here. Good to have you, buddy. Good to see you. Hey, let Toy Father know that I will next Wednesday night. He'll probably be asleep. But next Wednesday night, I'm gonna open the gift that he gave me. He was generous enough to gift me a Mezco figure. So I thought it was only right to open it and do a proper video for it. So, but he'll probably be asleep, which is fine. But good to have you too. I care about you as well. Chris Chaotic is here. Good to have you, buddy. He says, I sculpted and painted the armor. Is that true? Didn't Ross sculpt the armor? Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know who did what at this point. Brian Brink, figure arts are like Pop Goes perfection. Accessories fly everywhere out of the plastic. It's the exact same thing. That's the exact same thing as I'm dealing with these. But it never upsets me. You know, when it's cool toys, it's cool toys. And I will say this: the alternative is those blister cards that are like near impossible to get anything out of, and those ones really drive me crazy. You know, when you gotta like fight the card, when you have to, you know, damage the card and like just damage everything to get anything out, it drives me absolutely crazy. So I'm okay. I'm okay with this scenario. Oh, I wish there wasn't a tape on here. Because now it's left a residue on my lovely clamshell. But, you know, first world problems. Am I right? Let me cut this guy out. Thud. These dinos and mammals, in this case, are so thick, so dense, so heavy, but so awesome. So awesome. The mane is a little disconnected from the figure itself, but I'm sure that's you know, not an issue. I'm sure I can fix that. This colorway, though, like I said, this colorway is really, really nice. And this is right out of the box. I haven't warmed this up at all, so I am, you know, running the risk that things don't move very well. You can hear how squeaky it is. But beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. I love this colorway. I love this colorway. Now, for a point of reference, just because I can show you, that's the red. Let me adjust this angle because I think I'm not going to need this super wide angle. Bear with me. This will all be worth it. Trust me. That'll probably do. Okay, so that's the new one. This is the Cyberzoic one. And, well, a little bit of spoiler. That's the black one. Now the black one has the full Saber Beast armor on. But gives you an idea of sort of your three kitty options. Like I said, as much as I love the black one, as much as I love the Cyberzoic one, this one is really, really cool. I really like this sort of golden color. Let me get this spoiler alert out of the way. Let me get this one out of the way too. We'll just take a look at the one that we get in this set. He's got his big he's got his angry face on. I'm gonna adjust my light very quickly here too. He's got his angry face on, and I think this is the one that I'm actually going to use to armor up. And his teeth are a little bit crooked. Again, with a little bit of heat, I can fix that. No problem. Loosen up the joints, all that kind of stuff. No issue at all with heat. And I have a heat gun next to me. Whether I choose to use it, I'm going to use it. I got to loosen up these joints because it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't do the figure justice if I just sort of show it to you in this weird, awkward pose. So talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Oh wait, hold on. Let me put some music on. Let me set the mood. And we're back. Didn't take long at all, right? You guys weren't bored at all, I'm sure. Okay, so what I've done is, whoa. Why does it feel so dark? Maybe that's just me. So what I've done is heated them up. I have adjusted the fur on the neck there, so that gap is gone. No issue, as I said. I will have to swap the ears, and am I gonna keep this head or use the alternate head? Well, I don't know. The alternate head, of course, is this one right here. Less angry, but still has the articulated jaw. So you can still get open mouth, sort of roaring, howling, whatever you want to call it, from this one. However, it does sit much wider, or it looks much wider. It looks much nicer when it's done, in the alternate head sculpt. I on mine, I have my my black Smilodon, my Beast of the Cenozoic Smilodon with the angry head, and then my Cyberzoic one with the normal head, this one here. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I don't know. I feel like the angry head is maybe a little bit more on brand for the packaging. So I'll just put that one there for now. I mentioned the mane. So the mane is removable and swappable. So there is this more sort of aggressive, more male mane, and then sort of the female mane, if you want to call it that, will go on there as well, and just be a little bit more low profile. But in this case, I like this one. So I'm going to leave this one on. You get alternate ears. So the head has two sets of ears, or I should say the heads have two sets of ears. There's sort of a more neutral set of ears, and then a more swept back, more sort of aggressive set of ears. And for the helmet, we actually need to have this set of ears on the head in order to make it work. So, you know, I think, though, in the sense that this helmet is separated, I think this one will actually work if I were to put it on, you know, without the other pieces. I think this one actually works with these ears, but the helmet, you know, the three pieces of the helmet all together, I think work better, you know, if I use these ears. So I'm going to swap those ears when I get there. Man, this is shambolic tonight. So we got the head, we got the mane, we also get alternate feet. So it comes with the claws out, front and back, and we get alternate paws. You know, he's a cat, right? So you get alternate paws for the front and the back that in fact have, you know, the claws drawn in. What else? That's it for, you know, the Smilodon pieces themselves. Moving on from the Smilodon, maybe to Helina, we get Helina, which is a fantastic figure. I believe this is more or less the same base body as Dragolina, but with some different parts. I think different feet, different shoulder pads, different you know, wrist gauntlets, arm gauntlets, different head as well, different hair sculpt, and then different backpack. Now I'm trying to figure out, she's got 4 blades. She's got 2 blades on her hips, 2 blades on her back, and I'm trying to figure out whether these are removable or not. The ones on her back are. Now, are the ones on her hips removable as well? They are. So she comes with 4 blades, 4 removable blades. She's got all of them sort of loaded up straight out of the box, which is kind of wild. That's a good looking figure. I'm glad I did not pass on this. I'm very, very glad I did not pass on this. Because now I'm realizing that I might even like this figure a little bit more than I like Dragolina. A little bit, not much, but enough that I'm glad that I got this one. You also get an alternate screaming head, which looks very, very nice, as well as a shield, a more basic shield than we get with the Dragolina figure, but very, very nice. And then, you also get alternate hands. So you get those open hands, and then you get alternate hands. These hands are absolutely tiny. You get C grip hands. You got to believe me that they're C grip hands. They're so small. And then teeny tiny fists. Very, very small fists. For a very, very small figure. There we go. Yeah, let's see. Where should we start with the armor? I mean, the armor is like not, if I'm being honest, like the armor is not exciting if I just show you all the pieces of the armor. So maybe I'll just sort of start putting the armor on. Or maybe I can kind of like show the pieces as I'm putting them on. That makes sense. I'll do that. I just have to kind of organize it so that I'm know which pieces I'm doing when. All right, so starting with, let me just get this adjusted there. I think that'll go. Try to get this set up in such a way that it looks good while I'm doing it. Okay, so smile it on, neutral position-ish. My other Smilodons are in less neutral positions, but for the sake of putting the armor on, I think this makes the most sense. So you're going to need this belt, which is painted beautifully. Got these little foam bits on the underside, which seem to shift as you're putting it on, or at least they did when I put on my Saber Beast armor. But this one is painted a little bit more elaborately. You got the blue with the silver on here, looking very, very nice. And then we get the sort of main part of the saddle, which is in fact two parts, then glued together. And this is going to get this piece on the back. I think in the instructions, these pieces, like you put this one on and then you put this one on. But there's a little tab on here that plugs into the back here, and I am certain that plugging this piece on now will make this sit better in the end. So I'm going to do it now. And again, heat is your friend, so I'm going to fire up the old heater and soften up some of these pieces to get this. Is the heat gun super annoying? Please let me know. It's necessary, so it's kind of like I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of thing. So that, like, just so you know, this went from relatively rigid with 30 seconds of heat. This is now like really pliable and flexible, and this tabs in incredibly easily. So much easier than if you sort of try to do it cold. I am going to do the same thing with the belt buckles, but not as much. I don't want as much heat because these are going to plug in pretty easily, or at least from my experience, they did with the other ones. So that's going to just go on the back there. While I'm heating this up. I don't want to heat this one up too much either because the foam pieces, I believe, are probably glued. So if I heat this up too much, I think that foam might kind of come unstuck. So I'm really just softening it up ever so slightly just to make it fit ever so slightly easier. And now I've forgotten which way it goes. So I probably should have looked at the instructions, but I live by my own rules, so I'm not doing it. And this will tab right in on this side. Easy enough. Come on, just tab in. There we go. That's like the main armor. That's like the main sort of bit. Looks great. Super easy. I didn't change the ears. I got to change the ears before I can put the helmet piece on. And they just pop out. So they are just keyed in to either side of the head. You can't put them on wrong because they're keyed. Well, you probably could. Never say never, right? Whoops. Yeah, of course that popped off because I said it was so easy. Yeah, joke's on me. I'm going to take this off because I got to get these alternate ears on. I feel like I'm going to knock it over again. Keyed. All right, that's on a little bit better. All right, now this head helmet armor, I actually put this the other version of this I actually put together first and then was able to pop it onto the head just as one piece. So I'm going to actually do that again. And again, I feel like a little bit of heat is going to come in handy here because there's these two little pegs right here need to plug into, you know, the holes on either side. And I think they just sit better if I heat this up and plug them in and then put it on the head. I think that just makes more sense. Otherwise, you know, when you try to, like, if you put the one piece on and then try to plug the other pieces in, I feel like it never quite works properly. You don't get the same sort of positive engagement from the fit. All right, so that is soft enough, probably. Let's find out. To allow these to pop right in. Yeah, and they pop right in. And the ears, so the reason you have to use those ears is because the ears actually plug in to these. And there's a little bit of like a little bit of garbage gobbledygook in this one. So I'm actually just gonna very quickly tidy it out. Yeah, that'll be fine. Plug this one on as well. So in the other version of the Saber Beast armor that comes separate, does not come in a set. This helmet actually comes as one piece. And as I said, it went on very, very easily for me as one piece. And now it doesn't want to peg together. It's cooled down enough that now this does not want to go in. All right, so what I'm going to do is actually heat it up again. Very, very quickly. I promise. And then that'll be all the heating I need to do, because then I'm almost done. Then I can put the sort of shin armors on, put the blasters on, put the blast effects on, and we'll be good to go. Was that enough? Just doesn't want to go through that one peg hole. But as I said, doing this off of the head is, in my opinion, far superior to trying to figure this out on the head, which I'm sure would not allow this thing to work the way that it's supposed to. I'm sure it would just never sit properly. It would never sort of plug in properly if I didn't heat it up. So although it doesn't want to go on now anyway. So the one goes fine. The other one is just being stubborn. I blame Chris. Oh, you son of a bitch. It's almost like... Oh, these armors are so cool, but some of them are just a little bit difficult. Oh, come on. Well, you can see like 3 or 4 pegs fit perfectly, no problem at all. This is frustrating that it's like the one thing that should be like such an easy thing. And it's so freaking close. It's so close. Ah. Well, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. And I think I'm going to just have to deal with this later. Cause I just want to put it on the kitty's head. And as I said, I know that it'll fit and I know that it'll work because I've done it with the other one. So there is the Smilodon's helmet. Looks fantastic. Looking more and more Dino Rider-esque as we go. Then we have these little shin guards that are going to clip over the forearms of the Smilodon. And they're just friction fit. They just sort of pop on like so. This is so much easier to do when you don't have lights and gear set up in front of your hands. All right, so that's the basic armor. That's the basic sort of armor set, and that's the same as the Saber Beast. In terms of what you get, you get the what is this called? Why am I drawing a blank on that part? Like the easy part. The saddle. You got the saddle, you get the helmet, and then you get the shin guards there. But then beyond that, we get some blasters that go on the shoulders. We get blasters that go on the ankles. You get some blades that I put sort of on the haunches of mine. They're the same port size for all three of these, so you can really sort of do the mix and match. They're interchangeable and kind of put them wherever you want, wherever it kind of works for your preference. But in my case, I put the big blasters on the shoulders, I put the small blasters on the shins, and then I put the blades on the back there. You get two options for your sort of steering or sort of beast manipulation. You get just sort of a leather strap, which I think looks kind of cool. It's a little bit more discreet. Or you get the more sort of futuristic handle joystick type lever to control your beast. It's just a preference thing. They both go on in the same spot, but they one of them, I think in this case, looks a little bit more futuristic and it's a little bit more obvious, whereas this one is a little more discreet because it actually sort of sits lower, a little bit more flush with the armor. For the sake of this one, I'm going to use the bigger ones and just pop them in. It's just that easy. Put the blades on the haunches. And all this stuff fits really nice and snugly, which is good and bad. I mean, you really do have to kind of muscle it on a little bit. But the red tips, just the tips. The red tips on the blasters, are just so Dino Riders. And as much as they did the Dino Riders paint app for the T-Rex in the Tyrannosaur series, getting the armor with the red tips, for this, I think is like next level. Ah, look at that. How cool is that? And then these actually extend, and I'm not gonna. Can I get one back off? These actually extend. There you go. That's short one versus long one. I actually like them a little bit stubbier. I like them a little bit shorter, so I haven't extended mine for any of my Saber beasts. But it's a personal preference thing. Your mileage may vary. You do what you want with your saber-tooth tiger. My saber-tooth tiger is gonna go with the stubby ones. I'm gonna get Dragalina on there. Helina, sorry, not Dragalina. Dragalina pre-Fire Clan. If you're paying attention to the lore. Double jointed knees, single jointed elbows. They sit fairly well on the mounts. Great little figures. Plenty of articulation. You just got to get that right pose, I can't be the only one that will take the time with a double jointed knee, especially taking the time to get the knee sort of at the angle that I want it. If that makes sense. The how much above the kneecap, how much below the kneecap is sort of moved, all that kind of stuff. I can't be the only one that sort of spends too much time on that. Hopefully I'm not. And I coulda, shoulda, woulda switched to the C grip hands, but for the sake of time, I'm not gonna bother. And for the sake of time, I'm not gonna, take the time to really get her posed up on there. I mean, we're at an hour, and I usually go about an hour. So, if I had more time, I'd put the screaming head on there, and I would do the whole thing. But for tonight, I'm just gonna get the blast effects, nestled in here. And get those ones in there, get a couple of these ones on the bottom. How cool is that? This is so awesome. I love these figures. Oh man, I love this stuff. I love this line. And I can't wait for even more. This was not my best video, but thank you for joining me. Good to have you guys all here hanging out. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you're watching in the chat, thank you. If you're watching on the replay, I thank you as well. You could be sort of anywhere doing anything, and you're here watching me play with my toys. As I always say, it is always more fun to play with toys with your friends. So thank you guys for joining me, and I am out of here. I'm gonna go play with my Cyberzoic toys. And if you want to see more of these videos or more sort of unboxing videos, I'm opening all the Cyberzoic stuff, and I'm doing videos for all of it because I think it deserves it. I think it's worth it. So, check those out as well. I will be back next week opening more toys on Wednesday night. As I said, I'm going to be opening next week. I've already decided I'm opening a Mezco figure. I think it's called the Warhawk. So yeah, if you're interested, come back next Wednesday and we'll hang out and open toys together. Till next time. Bye-bye.